All right, so today's video is another program design video, and the people that I'm making this program design for, you may know as the CBOYS. Yes, the CBOYS. And they're doing a bodybuilding competition. Yes, you heard that correctly. The CBOYS are entering a bodybuilding show. So, yeah, that's that, and I'm helping them prepare for it. This is how I'm going to make their updated program. We've been working together for a while now. We were going to do a show this past summer. They got too busy with their schedules, so we're going to push it back. And word on the street, allegedly, that Ken is making a lot of progress. So they wanted to push this fitness challenge longer so Ken can continue making progress. And now the remainder of this video is kind of just like, not necessarily boring. I like it. I find it interesting. But this is just my process of how I go from CBOYS, their schedule, their needs, their everything that they need, and fit it into a training program that they can get the most bang for their buck from. So before I pick any exercises or any type of like training split that I'm going to do for them, we have to take into some considerations. Main thing is that their schedule is kind of all over the place. Sometimes they have a whole week where they could train every day if they wanted to. Sometimes they're traveling and they can only train like 2 or 3 times a week. So the main thing that I need to make sure is that, say they have a lesser week, they can still train every muscle group at least once. But then if they have the opportunity to and their schedule is more open, they could train up to like 5 times a week. Okay, so that is kind of the main thing, is they got to make sure that whatever split I lay out for them, like they can hit all of their muscle groups at least once. Ideally, you train something twice, maybe even 3 times a week if you can, if it's a priority. So this is kind of how we're going to do this. I'm going to start off with any and all priorities that these guys have. So main priority that we've been working on for a while is arms. They requested more arm work. And I don't blame them. Usually there's never a problem with having bigger arms. So that's priority number 1. Next priority request from CJ is that he wants to incorporate just like a barbell bench press. So there's one. Another priority is that he wanted to do a shoulder press as well. So the split, I think that would be the best of both worlds, where they can make 2 days a week work if they have to, if their schedule's super busy, or 5 days a week work if they're home and they can just hit everything, ideally at least 2 to 3 times a week. The split, I think, is going to work well for them, would be like an upper body push day. Then they could do an upper body pull day. Then they would do a leg day. Now these 2 slots here, this could be an example of, say they're super busy, can only train twice a week. We could give them a total upper body day. And then the other day could be a leg day. And say that they can only train maybe 4 days in a week. If they do push-pull legs, upper body day, and they skip a leg day, probably not the end of the world. Also, the division they're going to do is men's physique, where you wear the board shorts. So, like if the legs are a little bit behind on the upper body, also not the end of the world. Let's just say that training legs takes balls, and I think these guys got some balls. Yeah, I don't know what this stands for, so I'm just going to delete that. All right, so this is how we're going to structure these workouts with these goals in mind. So we're going to start off their push day with just your good old-fashioned barbell bench press. That's going to be that day. And then I'm going to put this shoulder press on the upper body day. So if they can only train twice a week, they still get at least their 1 request of a shoulder press. If they can train maybe 3 days a week, they would get their bench press. And in an ideal world, they train all these workouts, they can do both. Okay, now if we're going to do arms, usually pretty standard to run triceps on your push day, biceps on your pull day, and then I would give them arm stuff again on their upper day. So again, I just keep referring back to the 2 days a week. They're at least hitting everything once. Train 5 days a week. You can see how they're going to train things twice. Okay, now I'm just going to designate the rest of the muscles on their body into these days. That would make sense. So bench press, that's for the chest. We also need some front delts. That's going to be on this push day. We'll probably do some side delts on this day. And I also need to give them probably a little bit more chest work there. So this day, I'll probably give them like maybe 3 good sets of bench press. We'll do maybe 3 sets of another chest thing. If I might combine these front and side delt day things, and I might give them just like a cable raise that's going to target maybe a little bit more of that front part. So I'm just going to say like front half delt. Oops. So maybe we'll give them like maybe 5 sets of that. And then triceps, they do get worked in the bench press, but we can train them, definitely can train them more. So let's say we give them maybe 4 sets on that day. Biceps, we'll match it with 4, keep it balanced between the arms. We're going to train for their lats, which is kind of that like muscle that's down low. They're going to do 5 sets. And then maybe for the upper back, maybe they'll do 5 sets. Oh, I also need to put in their, so we did the front half of the delt on the push day. We need to do their back half of the delt on this pull day. So rear delts, say I give them 4. And these numbers are tentative. I will probably come back and change them as I fill this out. Okay, where are we at here? Okay, so now on this day, for the upper day, when we are doing kind of like a total upper day, I kind of don't think necessarily as much in terms of specific muscles. It's more so the motions that they're going to do. So they're going to do a shoulder press, so just like a vertical push, and I also want them to do a horizontal push. So that would be just like a chest press. I'll just say horizontal. Okay, and now kind of the same thing for their back muscles. I want a vertical pull and a horizontal pull. As for the sets here, maybe I'll give them, I'll keep hitting that arms hard, 5, 5. And then for the pushing, maybe do 3, 3, 3, 3. All right, now for the fun day, the leg days. There is no lying leg curl machine at this gym, so that does kind of suck. So if we're going to divide the legs up, we've got quads, we've got the hamstrings, which is the back of your leg, we've got glutes, and then we've got adductors, which is kind of like your inner thigh. Okay. So now when I have 2 leg days, I usually have a priority day for one. So maybe on this first leg day, they're going to do more quad stuff. So maybe they do 5 sets of quads on this day. But maybe on this day, they might only do 2 or 3. But since the quads are the lesser day on this, their hamstrings and glutes will get the priority. So maybe we'll do like 5 sets. But on this day, maybe they only do 2. Glutes, keep it smaller. Don't really need super big glutes. It would be funny if one of these guys was just walking around with a dump truck. But yeah, maybe it could look good sitting on a bike, riding from behind. All right, so now that I've got their program builder up here, now I can start taking kind of what I laid out there in the split. Now I can apply the volume and the split into actual exercises in this program. This is also where I kind of have some tricks up my sleeve as for how I can get all of this work done in shorter amounts of time, so these guys don't have to spend nearly as much time in the gym. So we can make this a little bit more efficient. So if you want to speed things up here, you can superset 2 things that train relatively different muscle groups. So like the kind of the big one we're going to put first is going to be like a barbell bench press. Okay, then we're going to superset that with something that's not going to impact their performance as much. So it's like you couldn't do a tricep thing because you need triceps to bench press. You don't really want to do too much of a front delt thing because it's also being used in the bench press. So one thing we can do is train more kind of like the back half of their delts. And the exercise they're going to do this is going to be a cross-body cable lateral raise, which looks like this. There we go. Okay, now you can just like see as I'm going to do this, this is the front part of the delt. You don't want to work as we're doing that in the bench press. So when I'm driving out, it's more of this backside of the rear delt. Okay, so how I'm going to use these two exercises paired together to save them time. So they're only going to rest 1 minute after doing the bench press, but after that minute, they're going to go do these lateral raises instead. So typically they'd want to rest for like 2 minutes at least in between these sets, but instead of just sitting there and doing nothing, while their chest is resting, they can go train the back half of their side delts. And now while their side delts are training, their chest is resting. So by the time that they're done with these lateral raises, that probably took them like, I would say up to 2 minutes maybe. So realistically, their chest has rested for longer, but they've gotten additional sets done on their shoulders. So in the end, they're gonna save themselves a lot of time. I'm gonna throw something in that's also gonna save them more time as well. They're only gonna do 2 sets of, we're gonna give them like 10 to 12. But a way you can make workouts more time efficient is you can add some sort of like extended set. What I'm gonna have these guys do is they're gonna go a rest pause set. So they're gonna do a set of 10 to 12, they're gonna rest for 30 seconds, and then they're just gonna do another burnout with the same weight and aim to hopefully get like maybe half of the weight that they did before. Okay, for the sake of this video, I'm going to speed up the stop process, and then I'm gonna walk you guys through what it all looks like after, because this will take forever if I spell all this out. So I'm gonna fast forward quick, do all this, and then I'll show you the finished product. Ah! Down nice and slow, big stretch, push through.
Holy shit.
Come on, couple more. Good, up. Good, down slow, down slow, down slow.
Not bad, Ken.
Sir.
Feel pretty good?
Yeah.
Good job, Ken. You like that?
No.
Oh.
Yep, we'll have you do one more. Here it is, come on. Good, down slow. All right, we're finished. I have all these days filled out. I did make a slight adjustment to this push day. We're gonna do a fun rep scheme called wave loading. We're gonna do a heavy-ish set of 7, a little bit heavier, set of 5, then you're gonna go heavier, do a set of 3, and you're just gonna repeat that. Again, heavy set of 7, heavy set of 5, heavier set of 3. And usually that second round, you should feel a lot stronger than the first round. So that's kind of a fun, more like strength-ish focused rep scheme, which I think CJ will enjoy. When we're looking at this pull day, so some exercises I paired together that shouldn't really overlap is going to be just like a good old-fashioned lat pull down, pull on a station, and superset that with a rear delt fly, probably with dumbbells. Then they can move on to a seated cable row, and then I know that there's a crunch machine, or just like a decline crunch bench that's next to that station, so they can just flip back and forth between those. And then their bicep superset is going to be spider curls, which is where you're like leaning over a bench and really holding the squeeze. So that's going to be their squeeze. They're going to superset that with something that's going to be focused on the stretch, which is going to be just an incline dumbbell curl. Should look like this. There we go. So that's their stretch focused exercise. Leg day, quads. There's a hack squat at the gym. It's not my favorite. Gets the job done. As for the knees for some of them, it's okay. If it doesn't feel good, I just told them. I think CJ doesn't really like that machine. He'll just do like a squat variation that feels good for him. Same thing with Ken, because he has that issue with like his back of his neck. If he has issues with it, he just like tries to find him a different squat variation that feels good. So they're gonna work up to, they're gonna do a set of 15, don't know why it looks weird. 15. They're gonna do a set of 15. Then we're gonna go heavier. Actually, no. These boys are gonna go heavy. We're going heavy. So we're gonna do a set of 12. Then they're gonna do a set of 8 to 10. Then they're gonna do a set of 6 to 8. Crank the intensity up a little bit. In between these sets, they're gonna go and do sets on this seated leg curl. So they're only gonna do 2 sets of the seated leg curl. I threw in the rest pause so they can just get it in and out and be done with that machine. They're going to do some adductor machine where you're squeezing the legs together. They're going to do the abductor machine. I think it's the same thing that you can flip around. They're going to do rest pause on that last round for the adductors. And then they're going to superset leg extensions with calf raises. And these leg extensions, I threw in a double rest pause. So when I was going through what a rest pause set is earlier, it's your set of 10 to 12, rest 30 seconds, try and get 5 to 6, so that's going to be half the reps. And then you're going to rest again for 30 seconds, and then try and get half of the 5 to 6, so that might be like 2 to 3. Those are brutal, and I have them doing that 2 total rounds. So I might have to have them send me a video of them doing that, because that might be kind of funny. Okay, now we're moving on to their upper body day. Just started off with a dumbbell shoulder press, nothing fancy. Just working up to a heavier set of 8 to 10. This day, since it's a lot of muscles and a decent amount of exercises, we're going to do less total sets, but the sets they're going to do are going to suck. So they're going to do an assisted pull machine, try and do double rest pause. They're going to use a chest press machine, also do double rest pause. So it's going to go assisted pull machine, rest pause, then they're going to go to the chest press machine, rest pause, and then go back to the pull machine, do it again, then back to the chest press machine, do that again. They're going to do a just like horizontal row, and they're going to superset it with Kelso shrugs. So once you can't do the row anymore, then instead of doing the whole arm motion, you just do the motion in your traps. I can kind of show you what that looks like. Okay, so once you're rowing and you fail, just let them show you. So that's going to be their intensity technique for this one. Okay, once those are done, then we're back to the arms. They're going to superset bicep curls and a dip machine. They're going to superset hammer curls and cable tricep extensions. And then when we go back to their other leg day, they're going to do a leg press. It's going to be a little bit more tailored towards their glutes. Quads are still going to work. They're going to superset that with rear delt rows because they don't really have a whole lot of stuff besides the shoulder press on the upper day. So that's where you can just do, because the leg press and the cable stations are kind of close to each other. So they can do a leg press, then go do rear delts because that's not going to affect their leg press. And they can do the leg press because that's not going to affect their rear delts. Then they can just flip back and forth. Ooh, I'm going to take this. I did not know I put that in there. Okay, now we're going to go to, they're going to do some dumbbell RDLs. And here they're going to do RDLs, then go do leg extensions, then do RDLs, then do leg extensions, and then do a third round of RDLs. And then again, here we are with, and then their last thing is going to be supersetting just a hanging leg raise, which is going to be a little bit more focused. Okay, and then the last thing on this day is going to be for their abs. They're going to do a cable crunch. Let's see, sometimes these demo videos just look horrible. It's actually not the worst demonstration. So they're going to do that, which is a little bit more focused on the squeeze. And then they're going to superset that with a hanging leg raise, which is a little bit more focused on the stretch, kind of like what they're doing for those arm supersets. So on paper, that might not look like a whole lot, but they can get in and out, get the stimulus they need, and then go do whatever crazy shit they're doing that day. So yeah, that's what goes into the program design and creation for the CBOYS. If you have any questions about maybe program design for yourself, trying to fit a split within a certain schedule that you may have, you can leave me a comment or you can apply for coaching. Thanks for watching. We'll see each other in the next one.